to 5,000 subscribers.
On the YouTube channel.
Uh-huh.
Did you say 5,000?
Yeah, we are.
I see only 4,000.
Well, yeah, but we are. Well, I would say it's closer to 5,000 than to 0. It's what I really meant.
True. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wait a second. Checking the sound.
Hello, hello.
Oh, YouTube is lagging behind. I just heard myself for a brief moment.
I can hear thunder.
Okay, I will close the window then. Yes.
No, it's not that loud.
Can anyone on YouTube confirm that we are loud and clear and our sound is super?
Hello.
Hello, guys.
Hello, hello. I need to sit up properly so I don't look like
sit up. Too much sitting up. Okay, my thunderstorm starts, so I will close the window. Oh my god. I hope I won't die of heat. Everything fine, perfect, very good. So then we can spoil a few more minutes with talking about subscribers. And hello.
3 minutes.
And subscribers.
So for the early birds, today we have quite a lot of questions. Our list is quite full, so
yeah,
we will try to squeeze in some YouTube comments here and there. But I'm not sure how much time we have to do it. But let's see.
Let's see what the people are saying. Hello.
Flooring is playing out with the new.
It's so shiny.
I love this software. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, the software is really great. It's so easy to use, and we have so much fun with it.
The next person that talks something will be shown on screen.
Yeah, the next person when you post something.
As long as they say something nice.
Make a nice comment. You can see how the YouTube is delayed.
Yeah, or everyone left. That might also be.
Our faces pop up. Hello, everyone. 0 votes.
It's like no Dalton. I live.
No Dalton. Yeah, today we don't have Dalton. So he's on a mountain, maybe. No, he went to a city, we said. We shouldn't spread the false word of having Dalton on a mountain.
Dalton on a mountain. He's not on a mountain. He's on a
yes, I know.
City somewhere.
City somewhere trip, yeah.
Okay, someone did had a nice comment. Okay,
that's the one that we should start using for the first part of the show. And when we are taking questions and comments from our users, ding,
a nice comment.
A nice comment. QA82.
YouTube Studio is such a mess.
It is. That's a nice thing also about StreamYard, that you just relay it to YouTube and it does all the handling for you. You don't have to do anything. Just schedule the show and that's it.
I hate YouTube. Stop. No, I don't want to do that. No. There, yes, that one.
5 seconds. Ding.
Ding, ding.
It's 19 o'clock UTC. You're watching UBports TV.
Yeah, welcome to UBports TV.
Hear the news.
So, well, we should start really quick, but let's post that we are live.
Yes, and we make one sound of silence check for noise profile. You know, the usual 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must be enough.
Yeah, it's more than 5 seconds, but yeah. Good enough.
Okay, let's post that we are live. There was a comment already. Can I
will do that
it?
on Telegram.
Mm-hmm.
there's so many channels, way too many channels, way too many people. Man, I'm surprised that my Telegram doesn't crash. My Telegram account is like a perfect example to stress test any app.
Ooh, cool. I will send you all the previews from teleports then.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I'm very impressed with the latest update from Devil Channel plus the latest teleports. I have no crashes anymore. It's
Nice.
even on resyncing a lot of chats with a lot of delta. Okay. Give them 1 or 2 minutes more to come in.
Mm-hmm. Bang. Now people should start show up.
Did you notify everyone? Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, 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 everyone. I will also post it on Twitter. I don't have the UBports account on Twitter. I don't know where.
Twitter is already done. Scadrax is already doing it. I just pinged him. Yeah, should be good. 44.
Then I will retweet it once he does that sometime this week. You guys are German too? Well, I'm not sure if you're talking to us or the comments, but I'm not German.
No.
He will take it.
Edward, I'm also not German. I'm Austrian. That's a very small but important detail.
Diogo just pinged me that he will take care of Twitter.
Okay,
Thank you, Diogo. Thank you. I will read you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. We have more than 40 people already sitting and being hyped. So, welcome to this Q&A number 83. We have already 83, more than 80 times the pleasure of hosting this. And I was on nearly every one of them. Well, not everyone, but I probably skipped 10% or so only.
I think I am around the same. Like the most of the things that I skipped has been lately because of other work. But before that, I think.
Before, you were very brave. So, 83 Q&As. Welcome, everyone. This is the UBports Q&A, a community show where we take questions from our community and talk about the latest events from the last week's news and information. Yeah. And Dalton is on holiday, so it's on us only, and we are not the best hosts. He's much better than us. He has his texts prepared, and so we will improvise a bit today. But that's always good.
Maybe we'll do a better Q&A. Maybe some people will think that. I hope Dalton isn't watching, but we might.
If this works out, we might consider in the future more of us thingy or what. Okay, no. So let's head to the news section. And I think there is only one big news this week that we all want to talk about. OTA 13.
Woohoo!
OTA 14. What's your feeling? Is it good?
I was just wondering. I think we can we start again with a more where I wasn't really prepared that we were starting.
Okay. Starting from the very beginning.
No. Yeah, very beginning.
Let's start over again.
Yeah.
Okay. So, welcome everyone to the Q&A for UBports, our bi-weekly show where we answer questions and tell you all the news and information, what's happening through the weeks. And this is episode 83, and that's quite a lot, as we said. So we both,
I can't believe we had done 83 of these. It's quite amazing.
It's really much. And we are keeping this pace. And so if you think about it, if it's every second week, so it's times 2. It's over 160 weeks of community and work and Ubuntu Touch for us and for the community.
That's over 2 years.
Yes, it's all over 3 years actually.
Over 3 years.
So yeah. we will get old in this project.
I already feel like an ancient man.
So, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us this week. So, Dalton is on holiday, as we said already. He is not on a mountain, he is in a city, but that's enough of what you need to know. So, he will be back probably next week for the release of OTA 13. So, when we head to our news section, there is only one big news this week: OTA 13.
OTA 13.
Ooh,
so
it's coming.
Let's just head right into that. I think that's the big thing.
Yes.
And what a release! I think we said at the start of this release that we wanted it to be small.
Yes, quick.
Oh, he muted himself accidentally.
No. I just clappered on the keyboard. I hacked into the keyboard a bit.
He hacked.
Yeah.
This has been one of the releases where we said, hey, we upgraded Mirror and we upgraded Unity 8. Let's take it easy this time. Let's make it small. But I think we failed on that because there's so many good things in here. You really like typing on that keyboard and accidentally muting yourself. You're still muted. You are still muted.
Oh my god, these buttons. Sorry. I was thinking I pressed an unmute. I'm a beginner, you know. I never did this before. Only 80 times.
Only 80 times.
No, yes. I just want to say, yes, we wanted to keep it smaller, but then I think the speed, it took off. And we are over 60 single items on our project board, which are pull requests and issues, sometimes very small, sometimes one-liners, sometimes huge things. So the Q&A for that one will be interesting. We have to check everything.
Mm-hmm.
You made a call already for testing on the RC channel yesterday. So we want to repeat that one probably for all the listeners. If you can manage to get on the RC channel for the release candidate, which means RC, please help us testing. The project board is in our GitHub. When you go to GitHub/UBports, there is a project tab, and there you have OTA 13, and everything in the QA column needs to be tested and verified. How you're going to do this is basically easy. You grab something that you think you can test on your device after you have upgraded to the RC from this week. And then you just test it and write in the comments if you approve it or if it's failed or you have any comments. Yeah. You can also write it in the forum post under Mario's call for testing for OTA 13. I already saw a few people writing stuff there. That's also fine, but it would be better to have it on the ticket because we are going ticket by ticket if we can move it to the done column. So it helps us greatly if this comment would be posted regarding the specific ticket on the GitHub board. Yeah. That's for the testing. As usual, there will be another RC on Wednesday. If we need to hotfix something, we can do it until Wednesday, but the one from Wednesday should then be the one for Friday release. So we have...
Actually, the plan is if nothing is hotfixed that we need to fix.
Yeah, of course. Then we can take the one that we have. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we will take the one that we have, and then we'll be disabling the RC. But if there is a hotfix, it needs to happen as fast as possible. We wouldn't wait until Wednesday. And that's probably a good thought because they should probably disable that automatic promotion.
Yes. Reminder. Our CI is manual operated by turning wheels and pushing buttons. So,
well, actually, it's kind of it's really automated. Actually, it's quite nice. But so, let's actually quickly go over some of the highlights of this release. I think of the biggest release, and I see that Alfred has already mentioned this, is ARM64 support and Halium 7 support. Those two are huge. And I want to give a huge thank you to Alfred, to Notkid, Nikita, Notkid/Nikita, to Rachanan, and to all the guys that are working on the porting guys, and also the the Halium guys. It has been amazing to see how many devices has sprung up after Halium 7 support, and even after 7, 8, and 9, thanks to Nikita and Irfan and not Kit, and it's all these people. It's amazing to see, and I really want to thank them specifically because they have done an amazing job on that. ARM64 actually something we have had for a long time, but it's always been a problem with having ARM64 and ARM HAF using the same lab hybrid, so that's why it's been postponed so long. But now it's finally in the images along with Halium 7 and some of the Halium 8 and 9, but not all yet. I hope to get that in by the next release. There we have Alfred. He's hinting about ARM64.
And also that means actually, if you still are not seeing the huge value that we can bring all the Halium 7 devices that have been ported now to a release channel or to a channel on our system image server, they can get automatic updates. They can go to the installer. Everything will be downloaded from our system image, and that's kind of much easier for normal users to install their device, not to play with any manual steps or break your device, and it will hopefully greatly increase the potential base of users for those devices. There are a few OnePlus devices that fall into that range. I assume Xiaomi will also be there, a few of them. What else? My Nexus 6P should be finally there after I have to fix something small. So we come to, because we have a question about that, we come to a list of these devices a little bit later in our question checks section. But that's why we stress it so much. So it unblocks actually the community devices, and they can finally be released like they would be for older core devices. So that was ARM64 and Halium 7 support. Qt Web Engine 5.14. We can also talk about this again. I think last 2 weeks we already mentioned that quickly. But what's about with the Qt Web Engine and why it's so out of the numbering scheme actually? So
the beauty of Qt Web Engine or Qt Web Engine is that it's independent from the other releases of Qt, which means that you can update it without needing to follow the actual development of the other components. And also because Qt Web Engine was fairly new in Qt 5.9, it means that we didn't get all the cool stuff that we have now, and also a much greater support for hardware support, hardware acceleration in your Qt. This is especially, you can see this on the PinePhone because now you have GPU rendering working there. It's not yet working on mirror devices, but once we move to Wayland, that will be no problem. And also generally stability updates and a whole host of other stuff. You also get security updates from the newer base. And since the browser is probably the most important app on a phone, except for a dialer and the phone stuff, but it's probably the app that most people will use frequently or even daily, to be honest.
Yeah.
It really needs to shine. And that's also why that Web Engine update has been prioritized. And I have to say a huge thank to remembering names.
Call it the Morph team. Chris, yes.
Chris, yes. Chris and the Morph team. The Morph team. I know Dalton has done some work on it, and I know other people are also been doing work, but I know Chris has done the most of it, and it's so amazing to see this browser. It's to a point now. It's really good, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. True.
There are still bugs and still things that need to be figured out, but it's probably one of the best apps that we have currently. Considering how incredibly complex web engines are and web browsers are, it's insane. I don't know why Canonical decided to make their own Oxide engine.
Me neither, but in the end, if you think about it, people are so used to the browser that they don't think about complexity in the background. But it took off from simple HTML to a really, really complex sandboxed processing engine for lots of stuff that comes from the web, including JavaScript and multimedia content. And that all needs to be super fast and scaling to any resolution and so on. So I don't want to develop something like that. It's really would give me a lot of headaches. So it's endlessly complex. And if you look into Firefox and Gecko and all this stuff, because there we have an insight, mostly from long time ago to today, they have a huge bug tracker, and they have I don't know, thousands of issues that are popping up and being closed again and maybe re-pop up. So you need a long breath to work on a browser engine. So that's not for normal developers. It's really, really for people that have patience and a plan for the next years, because they will have no life for that time. Okay, that's too much maybe. Anyway, so yeah, Morph browser with Qt Web Engine underlying is updated, and we are very, very happy about it. I think I can already feel the speedy update. I tried a little bit, but of course I'm biased, because if you know that it should be faster, then you will perceive it also as being faster immediately.
There is a placebo effect, and I have noticed this many times when developing too. It's like I made a change, and it's like, oh hey, this is much faster.
Yes,
but then you compare it, and it's like, no, it is no difference.
Yeah.
So, but true, speaking about performance update, I want to mention this also in this Q&A, even though it's not part of the topic, but I forgot about it. But it's the update to Qt 5.12. I tried it out, and it's definitely a performance update boost. I tested it on two identical devices because, of course, I have two devices of, I think it's an Nexus 5. Well, it was an Nexus 5. And it's a definitely performance boost, and it's really noticeable. I really enjoy how much better this Qt, just an upgrade for Qt is. It's really, especially for ARM64 devices. The startup time, including my patches to get fast startup or faster startup, is pretty much instant startup.
Cool.
Of application.
Very cool.
That's really nice. I also want to, before we move on to the sponsor, I want to mention the last one. The OTA 13 is also packed full of bug fixes, performance fixes, and many UX fixes, and many fixes from Johan. Those are probably the one that you will notice the first, because they are graphical. You can see those pretty splash screens when you start up the application.
Yeah, so that's really freshening up the experience that we have now on most of the core apps. Already a nice colorful background when they start, and they have a nice huge SVG icon in the middle instead of the small pixelated one. So thank you for that. That was a nice idea, and it gives everyone a nice wow effect when you open it the first time. You think, oh, cool, it has color now. Yeah. So yeah, and there's also translation updates. I was a little bit looking into outdated translations of a few packages. We again found a few where we didn't update for a long time. So hopefully some of the missing strings are translated. There is one notorious string in the network indicator for mobile network or mobile data, and it's resisting translation now for weeks. I hope with today's push of indicator network package, that one is be fixed as well, yeah? Because I see it every time when I pull down my indicator for the network, I can see, not translated, yeah? We tried a few things, but hopefully today it landed. But that's not a critical fix. We will not make a new RC for that. So it will only be picked up, actually, when we have another critical that would update this package. So it's a little bit of a situation. So OTA 14. Okay, anyways, translation updates. Yes. Then let me see when I can command these banners here. And now we start What the hell are they going? Oh, I'm not. Dalton has this in his little finger. So first of all, at halftime of the show, we always thank our sponsors. And here we have our premium sponsors. That is Smooth, Waller, Pine64, Private Internet Access, and also our infrastructural supporters. Their new kid on the block is Gandhi, where we have our domains, and DigitalOcean and Packet.net, with the Works on ARM project, which supports us with a really, really huge, monstrous ARM64 build server. And of course, there are a lot of community sponsors, and we have this nice sticker here coming up. That's so nice, but I never know where to start with it, so I just start reading somewhere. Community sponsors on Patreon: Lauren Finn Tillerman, Renat Mirkalev, George Thoma, Michael Dale Meyer, A. Thiel, Max Fiedler, James H. Jackson Jr., Jaidan, Casey Lambie, Darren Olson, and Nathan Thomas. Very nice. Thank you, guys. So if you want Dalton to misspell your name, like I did now, maybe you can go to ubports.com/donate and find all the options that you have. And yeah, we would appreciate a few bucks there. You can support us on Patreon, of course, also with one-time donations, and they are even text deducible, at least in Germany. So wonderful. Then we have a huge questions section today, so we'll probably start early with that and see where we can get. So Danko6 wants to know, will Halium 7.1 devices get OTA13, e.g. the OnePlus 3 or 3T? So yes. The short answer is yes. So actually there are a lot of devices that are on Halium 7.1, as we said before. And the range of Sony Xperia devices is amazing. Xperia X, Xperia X Performance, XZ, Z4 tablet Wi-Fi Z4. Sony must have been doing something right to make it easier for us to port. I'm really amazed by this. OnePlus 2, OnePlus 3, Xiaomi Redmi 4, Sony Xperia X, I forgot even, X Performance, X Compact, oh my god. Okay. BQ Aquarius U Plus. If you are a BQ fan from the older time when there were the canonical devices around, then BQ Aquarius U Plus is the first on the horizon of maybe more BQ devices to come, because yeah, why not? They're making nice phones. And last but not least, my Nexus 6P. I'm so excited. I can put it in the community channel. The first port that I really seem to have finished, except for a few things with camera, and for some reason speakerphone doesn't work. But
here's one of them.
Ooh, bing.
The OnePlus 3.
Yeah. So yes, they will get OTA 13, but there is one but. You have to actually install it with the installer, because otherwise you will not be connected to the system image channel. If you're installing your device manually with Halium install, for example, that's kind of development mode where you will not get automatic updates later on. So you can install it if it's already in the installer, of course, or if the porter just is preparing the installer script, we will try to merge them as far as we can. But if it's not there, you just have to poke the porters to speed this up a bit. You can install it even after the release, of course, after OTA 13. When it's ready and it's in the installer, you will get the latest OTA every time when you use the installer. Yeah. So question answered, I think. Next question, also from Danko6. Is Qt512 preview possible with UBports QA? Whew. What do you think about that? When will we have branches for Qt512?
Well, technically you could do it now. That's what I did, at least.
But
as long as you are not on Edge, you need to be on Devil. I did that, and it worked for me. So,
cool.
But you do need to expand your root file system before, because the update takes a lot of space. So you need to reboot recovery, use is reset FS and do that on the partition, and it's hard.
Okay.
It's not that hard, but if you know what is, you need to know what you're doing. It's not as straightforward as other ones. But I would like to get it into Edge as soon as possible, or get it into Devil as soon as possible. But Devil have to wait after this release. Edge, we can probably do whenever we want. Yeah, as Rodney say, you also need to do some bind mount. Oh, you can also, okay, so you don't need to resize it. I just did it a K-man way and just resize everything and just install it. But yeah, it won't work on the Pinephone. No, that's based on Edge. Yeah. Everything that's based on Edge, you can't do it yet. But I do want to get it in. I would like to get it into Edge today, but I know Rodney will hit me with a hammer for saying that.
Yeah. Okay. So the short answer is it's possible, but it's not advised at the moment. So if you can keep your patience a bit for the next let's say 2 or 3 weeks, we might be already more advanced there. And so let's first release OTA 13 and then talk about Qt 5.12. Okay, next question from him again. What is blocking dialer messaging, address book, and so on, Morph browser as clickable packages in the store? Because it would be easier to, well, update and so on and so on.
It's one of the things, especially for dialer and Morph, those are more permission-based and how they integrate with the system. Dialer is very heavily depending on many of the components, and it also provides some components to the system. Same with Morph too. Morph is providing the QML wrapper for morph.web, for example. So it installs that on the system. So web apps can use the components from Morph. That's why Morph is installed, and that's probably why it will stay like that. For dialer and media player on address book, I am not too sure about those ones, but there might be a reason why they are still like that. Most likely it's either because they are providing something to the Wi-Fi system, it's permission based, or it's just how they architecturally are designed. Because I know Canonical try to make most of the apps that, but I know that you can do it. Especially the Morph, you can have it as a click package, but it needs to integrate with the system in that way. As I said, so
it's not on our priority now. We might work on this or that in the future a bit, but as long as we let's say don't get too many obstacles with that, it's probably gonna stay. By the way, comment from our live chat. I forgot to show. Did someone say Pine 64?
Also, one thing that popped my mind is with Morph especially is that it's heavily tied to the web engine, and the web engine we have to do system based. So
yeah,
that's also a good thing.
So Gizmo Chicken, during Q&A 82, it was mentioned that upgrade to Qt 5.12 was originally targeted for OTA 15, but maybe it could also ship with 14. People cannot really wait for that, right? That's great news. If you ultimately decide to wait until 15 to upgrade to Qt 5.12, could we see something like an Edge Qt 5.12? Same question as before, a little bit differently phrased. So yeah, we will try to get it in kind of a state that you can preview it before the OTA. Or actually, we need to do it because we also need to test with it. So it's not really a question of now you can't have it until the OTA is there. But for our developers, it's essential that we try it out as early as possible. Because it might break stuff. You never know.
Yeah. So I think in my preference, I would like to get it into Edge first because I don't want to break the cycle of Devil, but I would like to see it in 14, but I'm not sure how many. It really depends how many problems it has. I think that's where it comes from. But Rodney, I wanted an edge now, please. He's gonna hit me with a hammer.
Yes, you have to run now. Actually, so it depends on how many problems it creates and on how many Rodneys we have to solve them. Yeah.
Rodney just
No.
no.
Okay, so we just revert everything that we said. You never heard it. It will be out when it's ready. It's ready.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, really.
Development is just a big if. If it works, if it doesn't. Like, development is no more than guessing.
Oh yeah, let's have a philosophical hour again, like you had with Dalton last Q&A on the beginning. Okay, let's steer clear of that that tar pit for us. Prody wants to know, I wonder if there will be any update on the emoji font. A little bit easier question for us. I really need the emoji to discuss politics. You don't want to see actually the emoji he posted there. Any chance we can get this in next OTA 2? Specifically, we are talking about emoji 2, which is the font that would substitute emoji 1. If I remember correctly, there was something about it. However, I totally forgot if it's easy to install or upgrade or whatsoever. But yeah, maybe it's worth it to look into that again.
What was the replacement for it? I don't remember what.
I think it's called emoji 2, but I'm not sure. Maybe that's just yeah, really.
No, I don't. I think it was called something like open emoji.
Oh, maybe, yeah, can be. But definitely, yes, it's kind of embarrassing that we still are on a very old form. And I frequently get emojis from people that I cannot understand because they're just small boxes. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's called open emoji, but they're kind of different. They don't match the current style, which I'm not sure what I think about it. But just go to more openemoji.org and you can see some of the examples and tell me what you think, people. So yeah. But yeah, the short answer is soon, maybe ish. Later, TM. Okay, I will move on to the next question from Telnina. I don't want to be nasty, but I would like to ask about firewall in Ubuntu Touch. Is there a plan, maybe a timeline, to include the start of the firewall at the boot processes? And why are not firewall so important for Ubuntu Touch? So firewall on Ubuntu Touch is not really enabled because it hasn't been needed, and it probably still isn't because there is no port opens by default. There's no services running. Even SSH isn't running by default. So there shouldn't be a need for it because firewall is somewhat... Well, it's not heavy, but it's not light either. So the reason back for Canonical, as far as I know, is to save battery because there wasn't a need for it because there's no ports open. There's no services running using any of the ports. So there's nothing to block. And also to save battery life, to save performance on the device. I would like to try it now and see how much better it is because it also is a problem with older kernels on Android. But I will check this more up with the Canonical engineers and see more what the reason was because I dig into it a while back. But there was no need. There's no way to get into the device anyway. iptable it isn't heavy, but it also runs all the time, which is it's a balancing act there. But since Canonical didn't enable it because there was no need, I really trust Canonical's decision on that because they had security experts and engineers on it. But I will ask them again and see get different what they're.
It's an interesting detail somehow. Yeah, I mean you're perfectly right. If there are no ports open, then you won't have to worry. But of course, you could also say, well, maybe if somebody manages to sneak in something and open a port, then at least a firewall would be last resort of blocking that. If it would block all incoming things, regardless if something accidentally or willingly was opened locally. So it's something we could look into. But yeah, I mean, managing firewalls in kernels is a nice thing always, and it depends a little bit on the kernel version that you have. And yeah, we would have to make this a real epic for us to analyze what is worth and what's the effort and the drawbacks. But it's not totally off the table. I mean, if we can find a value in this in some way, it might be a good thing to do. Huh?
I want you to bring in one comment I see here. What if you wanted to restrict certain outbound traffic? That is a different take. I think that's a good point. But in that case, we would also need to make it user friendly, because if it's not user friendly, people can already use the terminal and enable it. But if people know how to use the terminal, they know how to get around, and they don't. But we need to make that's a different one. It also kind of depends. If you make a user interface for firewall, will people know? Like, I'm not talking about Linux people. I'm thinking normal, and not normal. I would say Android people.
Android people.
Android. Would they know what even a firewall is and what the purpose of it is? It's a balancing act. I think the better approach for that would have to have a separate app that you can download from the open store that gives you that functionality, and not to be pre-installed by the system.
Could be.
We're gonna, of course, make it possible to, if there is bugs and issues with actually enabling it, we will of course try to fix it. I think the best approach is to have an app for it.
Okay, we put it on our list of wishes, and it's a long list, unfortunately. But So, there's the next one that's really a little bit longer again. But I put it inside because it's having a little bit of context here. Because we might seem to underrepresent certain things, like specific devices that we don't talk about much often. So the basic question is, what's happening with the PinePhone? The thing is, in my opinion, that we have, let's say, so many things going on there, but maybe we would need to have someone like we had in previous Q&As reporting in a little bit, like we had Alfred always reporting about Halium porting progress. And so maybe somebody from Pine64 user group would be happy to join Q&As now and then to talk a little bit about it, because it's not on my focus. I don't even have a device. I really have a hard time to follow all the news, and there's a rapid development ongoing. And it would be also nice to peek around and see maybe what's happening in the other communities. So the valid thing is how we can put PinePhone news better in our Q&A. That's a good question. So thank you, Joel and Sonia, for this comment. We will try to improve our news coverage for the special devices, let's say. Also, Marius has a PinePhone, but probably you also not following all the news and things happening, especially in the other communities. It's just a lot to see and hear.
Yeah, there's a lot of things happening. Well, I follow pretty well on the Ubuntu Touch side because I'm kind of the developer there. But on the other side, there's so much going on. I think I know Lucas from Pine64. We have talked about it before. So I think that's a good idea to bring someone in from Pine 64. And I think Lucas will be up for it. Maybe if Lucas is watching.
Lucas will be Alfred, did you say? Yes, that's good. We will make it another Alfred. He will love it, yeah.
Let's make an Alfred.
Because I think that would be nice to connect a little bit better with that. Yeah, let's consider this, and let's hope we can have it for the next Q&A maybe already. And here is Lucas. We now triggered him. Yeah,
we triggered Lucas. Here is his name.
Yes. So when we're talking about Lucas, it's this Lucas. I'm told Mario says a dossier on me. Well, that was a Twitter thing. I don't know what's going on there, guys. Let's answer on Twitter later because you're hijacking our show here. Yeah.
I am trying to.
So a big shout out to Lucas. Actually, he is our Pine 64 guy when there is need for communication. With those guys, with setting up anything, getting information back and forth, and helping out each other, and also connecting with the other people from communities. So, thank you a lot.
I also love that Lucas didn't actually answer my question. Well,
okay.
I don't think he wants to be on. I already missed the host Dalton.
Oh no, we're doing not so well today. I know. Sorry for that. Okay, let's go to the next question, shall we?
Do you want more help on Manjaro or not? Who is the best host, Forken? Do I?
Oh boy.
Okay, let's.
So 3TED, Marius, it's yours.
It's mine. 3T_ED is just wondering, in what way do you prefer Lumiri over Fosh? And still pondering over where is not to go the Libran 5 route. I'm aware that Fosh is under heavy development instead in your experience just for. So this will
there's it again. The Libran 5 question.
Well, it's Libran 5 in general. It's more about Fosh. One thing that we need to establish pretty quick is that even though they are trying to, they look like they are trying to achieve the same goal, but in essence, they are not. Of course, there are similarities and mostly similarities, but they are still also trying to solve two different things. It's my take on it. Lumiri tries to be one desktop, one code base that works on desktop and on laptops and tablets and on mobile. While Fosh, currently at least, is a phone shell. It's in the name. Phone shell. Yeah. It's also more specifically made for one thing. And that's for the Libran 5. Of course, it has been expanded for that. While Lumiri initially wasn't even designed for one single phone. It was designed for many phones, and it still is. And it's also for one system, one full root file system. And architecturally, they're also different. The approach of Lumiri is that the same code should run on the phone and on desktop, no matter what. There shouldn't be any code change to be able to run it on a desktop, for example. There should only be config file based, so you can that's what device info is doing, for example, which is a library to detect the hardware is running for, and Lumiri should adapt accordingly automatically. It shouldn't require any changes. It should just run on that hardware, no matter what you throw at it. And there's a huge difference there. And this is also making Lumiri a lot more complex because it's trying to achieve this. While Fosh is a simple shell. It does one thing, and it only has the components that you see. While Lumiri is doing a million things. If not at the same time, of course, but because it has so much use cases, it has a lot of code to actually handle all the cases. Like, for example, when I run on a phone, I show this type of grid. When I am on a desktop, I show this type of grid. And this is also something that makes development on Ubuntu Touch generally slower, because we need to cover all these cases. We need to make sure that when we make a change on the phone, we doesn't break desktop, for example. And in the end, the beautiful thing that we want to get with this is the full conversion experience, where you throw it at something. If it's a desktop, mobile, whatever, it should adapt to that, and the experience should be similar to desktop, and it should automatically scale, and all the apps should scale automatically. The shell should scale automatically. How you handle mouse inputs, how you handle notifications, all the differences between a phone and a desktop, how the power button is handled. It's different, and every use case will need to be handled.
And also because we are going to put this into Debian, and we are working on this pretty well already, or we are progressing on this pretty well. We want to get more attraction to Lumiri as a desktop environment on a normal PC, also for users that don't even know what Ubuntu Touch is, and hopefully also get more people attracted to helping us develop it and keep it in that shape as it is now, to be in a universal tool.
Yeah.
So it has so many applications and use cases, and can be installed on almost any distro in the end if you just hammer on it and long enough. And for depth-based systems, it's not that hard, but of course dependencies and so on. But still, it's a possibility, and I don't know if Phosh ever will be something that jumps off the phone use case, as you said, and get any application, because there are competing things that do the same stuff much better on a desktop PC than Phosh could do. Yeah, let's say it this way. So I think in the end, it's also a kind of preference what you like and how you would your device to look like. But I wouldn't even think about a minute to drop a Lumiri code base that we have already that can do such many things and works for us so pretty well, in favor of something that's just started off and needs to be extended to cover everything what we want. We would restrict ourselves more, and it would feel for our users probably like a step back. If we come now with Phosh, it might be quicker, it might render as an instant maybe in some situations and so on. And I must say, I don't think that Lumiri is slow, but it might be possible to tune performance here and there. But it's quicker mainly because it's just a very much simpler arrangement of layers and doesn't do that many things, as you said. So yeah, I think that's a good answer for the question.
I also want to bring up one thing also, is that Lumiri tries, well, it tries to avoid any legacy software. It tries to be modern, based on modern components, like, for example, exclusively use Wayland, even though you can use X Wayland applications, but it doesn't use X at all. It only uses Wayland. Of course, Wayland X11 application can run through X Wayland, but it tries to be modern. It tries to use the GPU renderer. For example, Mir has support for off-screen rendering and stuff like that. So there's many cool stuff coming up especially for desktop, that I really want to see on desktop. I think, but also, as you say, the performance that we talk about, for performance on Lumiri is superb, especially on Manjaro, where we have a newer version of Qt. It flies, and that also shows how good the GPU rendering in Qt is, especially with some of the updates to the shaders and stuff. It really shows how much performance we can get out of it. As Lumire has yet to see some. Lumire has still it has been in a development phase, and in the heavy development, it hasn't got this performance focus yet. This is something that will come, and I hope to get to it really soon, where we just focus on performance and just squeeze the most out of it. But right now, we have been focused on getting to a point where it's usable on desktop and mobile. On mobile, the experience is it's solid. It's buggy, but the shell itself, if we if we exclude the other components around it and just talk about the shell, it's pretty solid. But the shell on desktop is still a bit iffy. It needs some work. But once that's done, the performance improvement can be really nailed down. And once we do that, I think we can see a major performance boost, because there is stuff to improve. Definitely in the performance area, there's many stuff to improve. So, but also that's as Florian said, the reason why you might see Foch as faster is because it does less. It's pretty natural in development, but in terms of GPU rendering, in terms of what it does, Lumire really performs well. I'm really glad for what Canonical did. They have done an amazing job on the architecture wise of it, and there's a good reason why they choose Qt instead of GTK. GTK is, as I said before, right now is not a good choice for mobile, and it was back when Canonical made a decision, but definitely not. Maybe with GTK4 we can see a different thing. Maybe it's much better then. But yeah, as Martin said, hopefully Foch stuff will be smoother once apps switch to GTK4. Yes, it hopefully will when there's more GTK rendering. But this is we are in 2020 and it's not out yet. We can see there's a clear reason why Canonical chose that back in 2012, because GTK4 was not even a thing back then. And with Qt now moving to West and not Western to Vulkan and stuff, I think we can see some even more impressive improvements coming from Qt.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a long answer.
Yeah, but sometimes it's okay, I think. But we can talk about this for a whole Q&A probably. There's one more question. It's a small one from Tiger Pro. How is the new QA system that was being tested a few weeks ago coming along? Unfortunately, we don't have Jan here today. He could tell you more about it. He didn't make it for today's show. I would say we will announce it if there is anything that is ready for public use. I heard only good things about it, but it seems to be not finally ready for going live. So yeah, let's just wait another 1 or 2 weeks and see what happens. Good. There is one big blog of 4 questions from that Geo guy. First question is amount of swap space available on the PinePhone in the default Ubuntu Touch image. If you want to test, try changing stuff and so on, for example, increasing the swap, the root image is always overwritten with the updates. Want to play around with system level stuff. Every time I update, I have to redo these changes. What is overwritten or reset during an OTA update? Good question. Well,
so I can start with the update part. The reason why everything is rewritten is just because how the architecture is designed. Our update is designed purely for stability. Our update system has yet to fail on even RC, and even Devil has never failed. Even it hasn't. We have done this for so many years now, and none of the channels have actually failed. The only reason why maybe Edge have failed to boot is because we pushed something that made the code bad. But the update itself has never failed.
Except for the one time when we added too many packages for the cache partition. But that's also not the fault of the update. It's our fault that we didn't estimate what we can put inside. I mean, come on, if your backpack is full, then it's full. You cannot add more things.
Yeah.
So,
but also this is exactly why we have the Denver channel. It's not really for
exactly. Yeah.
It's because developers are unstable, not.
Yes.
Well, that is what Devil is. But actually, Devil has been fairly stable comparing to what its name is. We don't break Devil often. We don't even break Edge often, and we have never broken RC and stable. So. But yeah, the reason why it's overwritten is how the updates are engineered. They are something called image-based, which means that every single update on every single device is exactly the same. So it downloads either the full system and overwrites it, which is rarely does because we have something called deltas. Deltas is a diff of what has been changed. It then overlays this on top of your system, which then overrides something. This is to make sure that when you have OTA 13, everyone has the same OTA 13 as everyone else, as long as you don't have modified it yourself. And this is to make 100% sure that any of the updates are successful, that they are working. And this is why it's designed that way, because on phones, we value stability a lot. Like I talked about this before, but you don't really want your phone to just die or an update, or you install an app from apt and it downloads some random dependency which breaks your compositor. You can't get into the phone then, because you're like on a phone, on the desktop, you have recovery. You can go into recovery and fix it there because you have keyboard and mouse and everything. But on a phone, if you sit on a say 12 hours flight to Australia, you don't want your phone to fail.
Yes.
Because you need that phone when you land in Australia.
So don't install OTA update before you go on a plane. No, that's not what we're saying. You can do this actually, yeah?
Yeah. I'm saying that this is the reason why we designed it, our canonical decided this way. And the reason why we continue to keep it is because you can actually update it on the airport and be safe that the update will succeed. That is the whole reason for why we have this system. And it's the reason why we have a read-only file system also. It's because we value stability over everything else. Stability is really the thing that, because it's phones. Phones should work. I know people want to use apt on their phone and people want to use Pacman on their phones. And sure, that if you want to do that, but Ubuntu Touch itself is designed to be stable. This is not to confuse with Lumiri. Lumiri is a desktop environment. You can use that on a different distro which doesn't have these strict rules. So once it, for example, lands in Debian or Manjaro, you can use Pacman or apt there. So
there's one interesting question from my side, and I really wanted to know this for some time. Assume that the Geo guy has installed or modified, not modified, but he has installed additional packages with apt, and then he's just updating to the next OTA. Will it then be that the Delta will overwrite believing that something is still in the old state, and then you mess up your root file system because the Delta applies over something where the apt has already messed with? So basically, would we download a full image when we see that something has been installed with apt? We know we cannot trust the Delta anymore. We have to do a full upgrade and just delete the root file system completely. Or are we going over that with the Delta and kind of risking that apt could have done something really stupid before?
This is a good question, and my answer to this is I don't know. But
I think we should have a look at this. Huh?
I think that's a really good idea, and maybe also have a notice in system settings if you have modified, because we can easily know that someone has modified it because we can use the checksums because every system is the same, so they should match. So we would know if something has changed, and this is also one interesting thing about security. We can use this, and because we know that all the root file systems are the same, we can make sure that nothing on your root file system has been modified. So you can know that your system is
it's not tampered with.
It's not tampered with.
Rodney says that it won't know something is installed anymore, but the binaries and such will still be there. It will only override things which are in the image which did change. Okay. So it sounds like it's a little bit more file-based than just complete binary blob-based. And I would have assumed, okay, it just takes a binary blob, takes an offset at address, blah, 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 and just writes some bits and bytes there, and it could harm
no,
things.
it's not.
But it seems to be a little bit smarter. Yeah. So
it is smarter.
Yeah.
It is file-based, so it's unlikely that something will break. But it's a good thought. I think at least we should have a warning that says you have modified the system. Are you sure you want to update? Blah 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 blah. So
okay, cool. There was one additional small thing. We have to speed up a bit because we are over time. SEDRAM progress, that also affects PinePhone. I have no idea what's the issue with SEDRAM there. Probably because it has little amount of RAM. It could be help with bigger workloads. SEDRAM, I don't know. Well,
I feel like the thing with SEDRAM is that is compressed RAM. It can be a bit slow. It can feel a bit sluggish, especially on app startup and stuff. So I think it might be better to actually do swap instead, because then you at least will get the initial boost of having the real RAM, and then it will get sluggish as you have more apps open instead of being always sluggish. I don't know. We have to try it and see how bad it. I know some devices already do that using SEDRAM, and it's a good idea. But
okay, but
Rodin says swap is bad on phones, but we already use swap, so on some phones.
Yeah, a little bit at least, 30 megabytes or so.
Okay. It is bad on phones, but so is SEDRAM because they are slow.
So that Geo guy, you have a lot of questions. One of them I can answer quickly. You want to help triaging issues in our bug tracker. We called for that last Q&A, I think. It would be so much help if we can sort out more of those 500 issues, if they are really okay or not. I would say in this case, try to reach out to us. There is no general document. We had some kind of documentation for how to file bugs and how to report stuff to us, but we have not a real well-written triage process on paper. But you can reach out to us and we can talk about if we can explain you what we expect. You're still up to it. Please come to us and we introduce you to our triaging process. Why not? Yeah. Question number 3, that was already answered. The development channel for ARM64 has been established, and that's great. And that's mostly for Android devices because PinePhone had already ARM64 before, more or less. A little bit special. Last question on my list, the components for Qt development, Ubuntu.components, and then a version number. What are the scope of these components and other Ubuntu XXX things, and how specific to Ubuntu are they? Basically, and why they're not renamed to Lomiri components at the moment.
Well, they have actually been renamed. There is a repo on GitLab which has this renamed, and it's already on its way into Debian. So it is coming, but for us to replace it on Ubuntu Touch, we need to have compatible layer, so we don't break any other apps. But none of them are Ubuntu specific at all. Like Lomiri components or Ubuntu components runs just fine on Fedora and Manjaro and Arch. It runs everywhere. It even runs on Postmarket OS. So it's not specific to Ubuntu at all. It's just because Canonical made it. That's the simple answer.
Yep.
It's not specific at all, and that's why we are renaming it, because we want to get it everywhere and not only Ubuntu. I think that has been a bad idea for Canonical to do, but I understand why they didn't do it.
Good. That was our first list of questions from our preparation stage, and now we're just looking for something that we missed before. What did we miss? Live chat questions. Are there anything open that we can take quickly? Maybe yes, no questions.
There was one here. When will Ubuntu Touch come to non-pleb phones? And with non-pleb,
oh, that was nice. Yeah.
It means no powerhouse phone or price of a car phone. So to cheaper phones, I think that answer is yes. It is coming. The more devices get ported, gets this. And I think a good example for this might be actually PinePhone, which is probably one of the cheaper ones out there.
I don't want to interrupt you, but of course I think he meant exactly the opposite thing. So because when he's talking about powerhouse phones, that it's not there yet, meaning we don't support that much of high-end devices at the moment. Also meant more expensive phones, yes. Also because I think that it's let's say not on everybody's mind to buy a $600 thingy and just start porting. But Marius, can show something here. I knew you would. If you can crack it open.
This FX Tech phone is probably one of the devices you talk about, which has an amazing keyboard on it. I love this. I need to charge it first, and then I can show it to you guys.
Yeah, I was blown my mind when I heard the specs. This thing is 6 GB of RAM, 128 gigs of SD card. And I don't know about the CPU. I didn't look further, but I said, "Woo! 6 gigs of RAM on such a small device and a keyboard, that will please a lot of people." Yeah.
But I think one of the major point of this phone is that you can connect it to a keyboard and mouse, and it beautiful works with conversion, and it feels
and
like
it's conversion, yeah. But it has a price tag. It has a real price tag, so it's not for the faint-hearted, yeah, because it's around $600 to $700 USD or euros even. At least on the homepage, it was labeled like that. Yeah. So that's, I would say, a powerhouse phone, at least regarding the price. Yeah.
I wonder if I can send a picture to Florian and he can put it up on screen.
Maybe I can. So there are questions also for Pixel 3, 3XL, Pixel 5, and so on, Pixel 3a. Actually, we are going, we are locking into on Pixel devices now, but yeah, that's something where Alfred has done already some start work. It always depends a little bit on the Android version. You know, there's still the old thing, like we need to have support for the Android version. Currently, Android 9 is under development. We have progressed already quite far. So not only the phone needs to be a powerhouse, it also needs to be at a maximum level of Android 9 at the moment. And Android 10, no, we didn't start development on Android 10 now. Actually, not really that much.
I learned one thing the other day from Alfred about Android 10 is that Google removed the init RAMFS from 8 and 9. And they brought it back in 10. So now there's like 2 releases without init RAMFS, and now they brought it back with a different, or completely different.
Yeah, it will kill us again. Yeah. So don't think about Android 10 too much. Here is the picture. Wait a second. I'm going to share this when I can. How can I do this? I press on this wonderful button called Share Screen. And now the question is, which screen?
With 5G, actually, I want to bring up a topic from Conrad about 5G. I don't think.
Wait a second.
I don't think 5G actually will be that big of a deal to get up. Ooh,
look at this.
Oh, you did it this way. Okay.
It's a little bit weird. Wait a second. I can probably do it better.
You can import it to this thing. While you do that, I will answer the question from Conrad about Ophono and 5G. I don't think 5G will be that big of a deal to get supported because it's fairly similar to how LTE work, in terms of APIs and stuff. But don't quote me on that. It might be completely hard. But I hope it's not. There we go.
Yeah. So what we can see, a little bit of white space on the screen, and then a lot of white space on the device.
It's not white. It's the keyboard.
So
if you look closely, there's a keyboard there.
Yeah. But
and this is on a neck stock too, which is a docking station for HDMI, and the keyboard just works, and it's the keyboard and mouse just works. It's awesome. I have a video also, but I will be talking about this for the rest of the day. So let's continue.
Exactly. So basically, that's one of a kind, because you have a convergent device with a keyboard. I think it's a really odd combination. Yeah. So normally you would expect, people that want convergence, they expect a full workplace with the big keyboard and so on. But they might be sufficient from time to time to just use the small keyboard that comes with it. So yeah, it probably makes sense, or not. I don't know. I didn't make up my mind about it. Okay, we are running well over time. So I would say we slowly come to an end with that. I think we pretty much had everything we wanted to have. The live chat is still bustling. We had a whopping nearly 100 viewers live. That's also really, really much. Ooh, thank you guys so much, because I think we had, last time I looked, it was 70 something. So still more people coming to our live shows. We love it. 100 people. That's amazing.
That's nice.
Yeah. Just saying, next Q&A will be in 2 weeks. You will get the announcement well ahead of time. We will have another round of interesting people, and let's see, maybe we can bring a guest, hopefully. We are showing off this nice note. Thank you from How to Privacy in InfoSec. So yeah, we also enjoyed always. Thanks for listening to our mumbling and philosophical speech about keyboards. Well, then I would say that's it.
Okay.
Last words. Okay.
Okay.
See you next time, hopefully.
See
ya.
ya.
Nice time. Bye.
And hopefully Dalton is back next time. So
yes. Say hi. Say bye. Say hi to Dalton again.
Say hi to
Ciao.
Dalton.
Bye bye.
Dankeschön.
Dankeschön.